Russians are constantly striking Ukraine from their own territory, and in particular CAP strikes are being launched specifically from Russian territory. Ukrainian drones are operating successfully to destroy missile depots, attacking oil refineries and other targets belonging to the occupiers. However, this has proven to be insufficient. More powerful weaponry is needed to turn the situation around. ATACMS and Storm Shadow are not suitable, as strikes on Russian territory with them are not permitted. As the Americans say, as they often remark, there really aren't enough ATACMS. But what if we told you that the situation might actually soon change, and in the near future, after all, missiles will indeed be flying toward Russian territory, and American F-16 fighter jets will help to make that happen.
The planes are flying, we're going to bomb everyone.
The Biden administration is seriously considering supplying Ukraine with JASSM cruise missiles, which have a range of 360 kilometers. There is no final decision yet. However, negotiations are ongoing, and it's quite possible that very soon we'll hear good news or see the consequences of these strikes.
Well, 360 kilometers means we can actually reach almost all the main airfields from which KB attacks on our territory are launched.
So what kind of missile is this? How far can it reach into Russian territory? And is 360 kilometers really its limit? The history of the AGM-158 began in 1995. The Americans needed a low-observable, high-precision, long-range missile that could be used without entering the enemy's air defense zone. It also had to be relatively inexpensive, since it was precisely for this reason that the previous program was shut down. At the end of 2002, there were delays due to two failures during the testing of the missile's warhead, and then there were emergency tests related to the engine and the launch device. But these failures only indicated the direction in which further work was needed. As a result, in October 2003, the JASSM was nevertheless adopted into service. The American missile has already seen combat, and other countries were quick to purchase them for themselves. The JASSM is in service with the armed forces of Australia, the Netherlands, Finland, and Poland. In addition, Germany and Japan also wish to acquire them from the Americans. And now Ukraine also currently has a very good chance of getting them, since the missiles are a highly advanced and perfect fit for the newly arrived F-16s.
Unfortunately, you can't implement Storm Shadow missiles on the F-16, nor can you install the Scalp, because these are, let's say, European-made missiles. They are mainly used on European aircraft, and the Eurofighter, on the Gripen, on the Mirage are well integrated and work well there. And these countries act as members of the NATO alliance. But on American equipment, on the F-16, on the F-18, they are equipped with American JASSM missiles.
Besides the obvious advantages for Ukraine if JASSM missiles are supplied, there is another less obvious one. The transfer of American missiles could push Germany to take a step it previously hesitated to make.
I even think that with the appearance of these missiles in the F-16 arsenal, the issue of transferring Taurus missiles will also be resolved. And in order for these Taurus missiles to work effectively, I think we might even get a squadron of Gripens or Mirages, because it is precisely from these aircraft that such missiles are best launched. But I don't think this will happen in the next few months. I think it will be a bit later.
For now, this can be put in the category of dreams. JASSMs are more realistic, and with their help, new horizons are opening up for Ukraine. As we've already mentioned, these American missiles have a range of approximately 360 kilometers. In addition, they are low observable, which makes the weapon less vulnerable to enemy air defense systems. For effective performance, the developers equipped the JASSM with a powerful warhead weighing 450 kilograms. To give you a sense of scale, the Storm Shadow is equipped with the same warhead, and the Russians will definitely never forget its strikes. With the help of JASSM, Kyiv will finally be able to create a safer zone for the border regions. Of course, all of this depends on whether the Americans actually give the green light to strike Russian territory and send enough missiles to the Ukrainians.
Currently, we have three main objectives: destroying air defense systems, destroying aircraft and airfield infrastructure, and destroying the oil and gas complex. These are the three strategic objectives we are working on seriously. With new capabilities, adding the JASSM missile allows for more precise strikes. I think the very first targets will still be the destruction of aircraft at airfields, and then using the same F-16s, more effective use of the ARMED missile to suppress all air defense systems. And after that, we can address the issues of military industrial complex enterprises that will no longer be able to continue production.
All of this will become possible with the use of the AGM-158 JASSM. But there is an important nuance here. Right now, we're talking about the basic missile, whereas the Americans also have the modernized AGM-158 JASSM ER. This missile was created almost immediately after the basic version, with one exceptional difference: the JASSM ER can fly much farther.
In this version, the missile has an additional engine at the rear, which allows it to be launched to a distance of 960 kilometers.
Now, imagine that Ukraine was given the modernized missiles and allowed to strike Russian territory. The Kerch Bridge would actually be too close a target for it. Even the basic missile could reach that far. But the modernized version could even reach St. Petersburg, Putin's favorite city. Even the bunkerman himself with his dacha in Valdai would no longer be safe. But that's not all. The Americans are developing an even longer-range version expected to have significantly greater capabilities. Its name is the AGM-158 JASSM XA. It is expected to have a range of up to 900 kilometers and a warhead weighing up to 910 kilograms. In other words, this missile will be twice as powerful and able to fly twice as far as even the modernized JASSM. Of course, the missile itself will also be twice as large, but that's simply unavoidable. If this weapon is being developed, then Ukraine would be the perfect place to test it. Kyiv clearly wouldn't object. We're drifting into dreams again, but the transfer of the basic JASSM or the ER version is actually quite realistic. Moreover, the Americans objectively do not have a shortage of them. Therefore, it's quite possible that very soon, perhaps, even as the final chord of his presidential campaign, Biden will decide to provide this long-range power to Ukraine. And when that happens, we'll let you know. Meanwhile, like this video, let us know in the comments what you think about the JASSM missile. And don't forget to subscribe to our new Arsenal channel so you don't miss the most interesting updates. The link is in the description below the video.